On this episode of Newsbreak, we are chatting with city arborist Jeremy Rogus. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So happy to have you here. So our talk today is going to be about air quality. And as the city arborist, you know very well that trees equal helping the air quality. But tell me more about how those things go hand in hand before we dive in.
Of course, there's so many connections between our outside environment, meaning trees and plant life, and air quality. Trees provide shade, so there's low heat, and heat does tend to make air quality, impacts air quality in a negative way when heat is higher than what it should be in a natural environment, like in the woods. So in an urban environment, of course, we want trees to lessen that impact of that heat effect. And of course, trees, as they do, take care of CO2 for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
They convert that through photosynthesis.
Other than trees, which I know makes a big difference, what other factors contribute to Northport's generally good air quality?
So you're right. We have fantastic air quality here, which is great. It's a great attraction, really, for people. I think if they knew about it, maybe it's an attraction for me because I have a history and a career in air quality. So when I moved here, it's something I looked at. So Florida in general, not just Northport, has great air quality, the best in the southeast United States.
Wow.
And the reason for that mainly is because we're not downwind of anybody, right?
True. Mm-hmm.
We're downwind of the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
So we don't have other states impacting us with power plants and coal burning power plants and industry and large cities with industry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing, industry. So here in the Gulf Coast, we don't have a lot of, that dirty industry, right? That you would see along the rivers
with
up
the smokestacks and all that stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that sort of thing. So, of course, that contributes to our fantastic air quality as well.
Yes, for sure.
And just going back to the last question about our natural environment, we have, outside of our cities in the area, we have large expanses of wooded and ranch land area, which is full of trees and vegetation, right?
Right.
So, of course, that is a great benefit to our air quality as well.
Definitely. I didn't even think about that we're not really downwind of anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That probably makes a huge difference. So, but then speaking of Florida, we can't say that we have huge fluctuations in weather. Our cold weather is 65.
Right.
But how do seasonal changes affect air quality? And are there specific times of year where the air quality gets worse or better, or does that affect anything?
Of course. So going back to the issue with heat, right? It's Florida. You think it's hot all the time, but in the summer it is hotter, right? Mm-hmm. So the pollutant that were of concern for public health when we're talking about effects of heat is what's low-level ozone. And you think people hear ozone and think, oh, ozone is great. Well, it's great at the higher levels of the atmosphere, right? We need it there, right? But at low levels, it's bad. O3 is ozone, 3 oxygen molecule, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you breathe that, it's not what your body needs. Your body needs O2, right?
Right.
Oxygen.
Yes.
And so for people with compromised respiratory issues, the elderly or young people with asthma, of course, that's bad. Ozone is worse in the higher heat in the summertime, just because it is formed in the low-level atmosphere easier with heat and sunlight. And the way it's formed is through nitrogen oxides, right, which is a product of combustion, right? So all the cars and anything we do which creates combustion, that's a product of combustion. And then also VOCs. And VOCs is also a product of combustion. VOCs comes from everything we do in our daily life, everything in this room, the paint, everything that we put in a landfill.
And what does that stand for?
Volatile organic compounds, all right?
Okay.
So that's a compound, the loose definition of it, it's a carbon-based thing. But there's so many, there's so many molecules that can be benzenes, and there's many carcinogens and things that can be VOCs. Anyway, these things are all around us, and you can't see them. They're in the air, right? But when sunlight and heat hits these things, they break apart. In the O3, there's oxygen connected to the NOx, NO2, or NO3, right? It's like a large chemistry set. The analogy I like to use is like the air in this room. You can't see it, but there's all sorts of molecules in it and outside, okay?
Yes.
So it's like a chemistry set. And when you add heat, things kind of break apart, like when you were in a chemistry lab and maybe college, if you did that.
I avoided it at all costs.
Yeah, you have a beaker, it's full of something, and you add heat, and something happens, right? There's a reaction that takes place.
Right.
So that reaction takes place in the air outside when heat and sunlight hits the NOx and the VOCs, and then the oxygens kind of combine, and different things want to attract to other things based on electron, negative and positive. And so O3 is formed in a short,
Wow.
Yeah. So,
that was a lot of fancy acronyms and big words and science and things.
I'm sorry,
No, in a great way. In a great way. It's fascinating.
Right.
I can't say I'm like, good at that stuff, but it still is fascinating. So with all that stuff together, we're keeping an eye on it. I know we have very good air quality here, but what measures are we taking as a city to maintain or improve it? I know we have a new sensor out on City Hall, on the wall.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
So that sensor is for particulate matter. So when we're talking about air pollution, there's what's called criteria air pollutants. These are pollutants that have the largest public concern for public health, right? And on national level, there's this thing called the National Ambient Air Quality Index, ambient air quality, ambient meaning air all around us, right?
Sure.
And so there's 6 pollutants. Particulate matter is one of those, right? It's a concern for public health. Obviously, particulate matter in the air, you breathe it in, it's bad, right? And there's different sizes, and some are so small, these particles, of just dust, and it can be just dust, that it actually passes through your lungs like oxygen does, straight into your bloodstream. They're so small,
Wow,
So obviously that's bad.
Yes.
So we do have a particulate air at PM, particulate matter monitor on the wall out here at City Hall. You can go straight to our website, and it'll give you the real-time data on what that level is. And the level is based on what's called the air quality index. So at the national limit for particulate matter is 35 micrograms per cubic meter, okay? So instead of every one of those 6 criteria pollutants has different levels and limits, but they're all related to 1 to like 300, 100 being the level at which it's bad. So 100 correlates to 35. So basically, when you go and look at the data on our website, it's always good. It's always like less than 30, right, or less than 20. We have great levels, right? And once it gets closer to 100, closer to the limit, that's bad, and obviously over the limit is bad.
Sure.
And so particulate matter has public health concerns for the same way that ozone does for people with compromised already respiratory issues and asthma and things like that.
Right. And the website, it would be at northportfl.gov/natural resources. So
Right.
It's be right. I think it's right on that landing page for them to see it.
Yes, it is.
So when it's pushing the limit, could that be something like even smoke in the area or things like that?
That's when we're going to have issues here in Northport. So we have wildfires, either set on intentionally for habitat maintenance and control in the areas around us, or unintentionally, unfortunately. We've seen that just recently this year. We've had fires right here in the city, right? And you smell the smoke, right?
Yep.
That smoke is particulate matter, right? And other things. But and so, yes, you'll see those levels go up. So if you smell smoke outside, if you know somebody with a compromised, if you have children with asthma issues, that's a day when you just want to take it easy and stay inside.
Right.
For sure, yeah.
Got it. Okay. Quick backtrack to the sensor out there. do we know possibly like how accurate it is? I don't know. It probably hasn't been up long enough to be able to like. Is there a way to know how accurate it is?
Oh, these sensors are very accurate.
Okay.
The PM in the technology and the sensor, all it is, it's very simple, which makes it accurate.
Sure.
It's not some complicated device. It's really just a laser that's always on, and it points. There's a counter, and so it's a computer in there, obviously, a little chip, and it senses particles that are passing through that laser beam.
Sure.
All right. So and then it just directly measures based on however that laser works to determine what the concentration is, right, of the particles.
So it sounds pretty darn accurate.
It's very accurate.
Yeah.
Right.
That's very cool. So is there anything Northport residents can do to help to like help contribute to the air quality? Planting things? Is there anything that they can do to continue our very good levels here in Northport?
Yeah. So in general, people, us and our residents in general, there's choices every day that we can make. Simple things, if everybody does one or two things in their life and their lifestyle, that can affect it, as a whole.
Sure.
To contribute to good air quality. And some of those things are just how much we throw away. Things go into the landfill, and the landfill creates pollution.
Right.
Right. So I don't want to sound like anti-consumerism. Everybody likes nice things, but just have that, be mindful, and then the way we use our cars, I go back to combustion and the things that result from combustion. Obviously, you drive your car, that creates pollution.
Yep.
I'm not saying don't drive your car, but I mean, just be mindful of the effects of every, you as an individual can have. Right?
Sure. Like you said, just be mindful. Have it in the back of your head.
Yeah. There's small engines. Okay, here's something. So a small lawnmower engine actually creates a ton of pollution. It's only a little bit of gas, but it doesn't burn that gas efficiently like a car does.
Okay.
So you run your lawnmower for an hour, it probably creates 10 times as much pollution as what your car would do, and you burn so much more fuel in your car just because it's not an efficient way to combust. Right?
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't have all the fancy technological pollution control devices that a vehicle has.
Yeah,
right?
and there's hybrids and electric and all that different stuff now.
Obviously, you need to mow your lawn, but don't do it in the middle of the day,
and
right?
When it's
hotter, go back to the heat thing.
Yes.
When it's the hottest part of the day, you don't want to do things like
it'll impact more.
Do it
possibly,
and then, closer to the morning or the evening when the sun's not out and it's not so hot. Because those products of combustion, again, like the NOx and the heat and the sunlight hits it. And
right. I hope there isn't a test at the end of this, because I would fail. That's all so interesting. So before we wrap it up here, Jeremy, is there anything else that you wanted to add regarding air quality or the work you guys are doing in Natural Resources Division?
We'd like to put up more of these monitors throughout the city. And again, it's not that we're afraid that we're going to have bad air quality. We won't. But when we do have these events, like wildfire events, or again, you think about fireworks and 4th of July.
Yes.
The day after 4th of July, that night, you're going to see a huge spike.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe even New Year's coming up here could be a good indicator.
So it's interesting just to be aware of it, right? And so, we'd like to do more of that and just have awareness. Maybe we'll do some posts and whatnot when we do have wildfires in the area, just so, again, it goes back to awareness. And then Sarasota County, they have an air pollution control program. They do some monitoring of ozone, and they do have a monitor. We don't have one of these it's very sophisticated equipment. They're delegated by the state to run it. There's a lot of reporting and on a federal level that goes into that. But they do have a monitor right off of River Road, north of 41. And it's a whole trailer full of equipment that they and you can go see that data as well. Florida Department of Environmental Protection, their air monitoring program, and that's real-time data.
Wow.
So, and it's always good too. but it's nice to know. It's
Right.
it's interesting.
And like you said,
For
that's
sure.
great information too for those who have or have a loved one who has like respiratory or like autoimmune things, asthma that could affect them. They can keep an eye on it.
Right.
They should or should not go outside or
Exactly.
put a mask on or something.
Right.
But that is awesome. So northportfl.gov/natural resources is where you can find all the information on that. And we'll certainly be posting and sharing about it when some of these go up in different parts of the city or when like a wildfire or something happens, we'll be keeping people in the loop. But we appreciate all you do, Jeremy, and thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Awesome. And we'll catch everybody else on the next one.